Imagine a man walking through a crowd, not hurried, not loud, yet every eye turns, not because of his wealth, not because of his looks, but because of something far rarer: presence. He says little, but when he speaks, it shapes the air around him. And what he doesn't say speaks even louder. Most men chase attention. Few command respect. And even fewer understand that the most powerful words a man can use with a woman are often the ones he never says. Before we go further, type this in the comments if it resonates with you. Silence is strength. I don't need to explain myself to be understood. And if you're already feeling the pull of this deeper truth, honor it. Like this video, so more people can wake up to the path of the high-value man. Because today, we're not just talking about dating, or tactics, or trendy advice. We're opening a door into an ancient current of masculine wisdom, hidden in the folds of time, whispered in forgotten temples, encoded in the lives of Stoic philosophers and warrior sages. You'll discover the 7 things high-value men never say to women, not because they're playing games, but because they've mastered themselves. Their silence is not emptiness, it's control. Their restraint is not weakness, it's discipline. These are the men who don't seek to impress, they seek to embody. And every word they choose to leave unspoken is a conscious strike against their own ego. A practice that aligns with the Stoics, who taught, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." These men no longer suffer. They no longer grasp. They no longer justify. They lead with quiet fire and purpose. In this video, we'll journey through time, diving into the sacred texts of Stoicism and uncover why some truths were never meant to be spoken out loud. You'll understand how words shape energy, how silence builds power, and how restraint becomes attraction. We'll expose the ancient roots behind this wisdom, break down exactly what these men never say, and more importantly, why it works. Because to understand this is to understand something vital. A man who controls his tongue rules his world. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about charm. It's about something far deeper: alignment. The kind of alignment that makes a woman lean in without knowing why. That makes a room quiet when you enter. That makes your life echo with quiet confidence and clarity. So if you're ready, not just to be heard, but to resonate, stay with me. What comes next will shift the way you see yourself, your words, and the world around you. Long before modern books and seminars promised to teach men how to win women, there existed a code, unwritten, unspoken, passed from elder to initiate, in the quiet shadows of temples and stone forums. In ancient Greece and Rome, where Stoicism was born, a man's worth was measured not by how much he could say, but by how much he could withhold. The high-value man was not the loudest in the arena. He was the one who knew when to remain still as chaos unfolded around him. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught in the open markets of Athens. But he began his journey in silence. Shipwrecked, broken, and humbled, he stumbled into a bookshop and read the teachings of Socrates. From that moment, his life took a turn, not toward noise, but inward, toward mastery. And central to this mastery was control of speech. To speak impulsively was to be a slave to one's passions. To speak wisely, or not at all, was to be a king within. The Stoics believed that language had power, so much so that Epictetus, once a slave turned sage, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This wasn't clever wordplay. This was law. In their world, restraint in speech was not just courtesy. It was divine discipline. Fast forward to now, and the world has forgotten. Modern men are conditioned to chase approval, explain themselves endlessly, and fill silences with empty noise. But ancient wisdom whispers otherwise, and for those who can still hear it, power is waiting. High-value men, the true kind, not the performative imitators, mirror this ancient silence. They do not say, "Please love me," or "I promise I'm different." They do not beg for validation or fumble for the right line. Instead, they are different. Their very being speaks louder than words ever could. They understand that speaking from a place of need reveals emptiness, and speaking from presence reveals depth. In ancient Rome, the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius led entire legions with a quiet gaze and sparse words. His meditations, never meant to be published, reveal a man constantly reminding himself not to react, not to be pulled by praise or blame. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In other words, even the urge to speak, especially in defense, frustration, or seduction, is often the echo of internal unrest. Why does this matter now? Because we live in an age of overexposure. Everyone is shouting, everyone is selling themselves. But the man who does not participate in this noise becomes magnetic. He becomes rare. Women notice not what he says, but what he doesn't say. The mystery draws them in. The calm unsettles them. They lean forward, wondering what he's thinking, and therein lies the ancient power. Curiosity, presence, command. This isn't manipulation, it's remembrance. The ancients knew a man's character is not revealed in his boasts, but in his silences, in what he refuses to say when provoked, in what he does not reveal when tempted, in what he declines to defend when misunderstood. And so, when we say a high-value man never says certain things to women, we're not creating rules. We are revealing a deeper code, a timeless archetype carved into the soul of Stoic wisdom. A man who embodies this doesn't need to speak for the world to feel his essence. And once you understand why these things must remain unsaid, you begin to transform, not just in how you speak, but in how you walk, breathe, and exist. Are you ready to enter the core of this code? There's a quiet war within every man, the battle between impulse and mastery, and nowhere is this more visible than in the words he chooses or refuses to speak. When a man is ruled by his ego, his tongue becomes a weapon, one he uses out of fear, desire, or insecurity. But when a man is ruled by wisdom, his words become tools of precision. He speaks with intention, or not at all. Let's begin with the first veil to lift. High-value men never say, "I'll do anything for you." At first, this might sound romantic, noble even, but beneath its surface lies a plea for worth. It says, "I don't know who I am without you." It reeks of desperation, not devotion. In Stoic terms, this is attachment disguised as love. A man anchored in his principles doesn't offer himself up as a sacrifice to be accepted. He chooses what he gives, and to whom, and always from a place of inner fullness. Seneca warned us, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." And a man who bends and reshapes himself to please everyone, especially in relationships, is nowhere near his center. The high-value man never chases approval with words. He attracts alignment through embodiment. Next, consider this phrase, "Ya complete me." Harmless, number dangerous. This statement reveals a core fracture. It suggests that without her, he is broken. This is not love. It is dependency. In ancient Stoic teachings, true love arises not from lack, but from surplus, a union of two whole beings, not two halves trying to fill the void. To say you complete me is to place the burden of your soul's peace onto another. It is spiritual laziness disguised as romance. A high-value man walks into love as a sovereign, fully himself, open to merge, yet never losing center. He does not ask to be completed. He invites shared elevation. Another phrase you'll never hear from him: "I'm not like other guys." This is perhaps one of the most ironic admissions, because in trying to stand out, he becomes like every other man trying to stand out. The Stoic path teaches that virtue needs no announcement. The oak does not shout to the forest that it is rooted. It simply is, and in its stillness, others gather beneath its shade. The high-value man allows his actions to reveal his uniqueness. He is not concerned with comparison. He does not compete in the marketplace of personalities. He knows his essence cannot be duplicated, and more importantly, he does not need anyone else to confirm it. Let's go deeper still. You'll never hear him say, "Tell me what I did wrong." Not because he is above correction, but because he is committed to awareness. He watches his own mind like a hawk. He reflects daily, like Marcus Aurelius did with his journal. If a woman is distant, he does not reactively chase answers. He observes. He remains calm in the unknown. This Stoic stillness often does more to rekindle connection than words ever could. Why? Because he refuses to let insecurity dictate his behavior. He is led by inner clarity, not emotional chaos. The need to be constantly reassured is a sign of inner turbulence. A Stoic man grounds himself before seeking understanding from another. Another thing he never says: "I can't live without you." This isn't love. It's surrendering your life's purpose. It's chaining your existence to the presence of another. The Stoics remind us everything external is fleeting. Clinging to what must someday end leads only to suffering. Love deeply, yes, but never from a place of need. The high-value man understands the sacred impermanence of all things, including love. That's why he cherishes it, but he never worships it. And perhaps the most subtle but deadly phrase of all: "Please don't leave me." It sounds vulnerable. It sounds raw. But to say it from fear is to betray your own path. Love should be free, given and received without coercion. A man who begs to be kept is a man who has lost his way. The Stoic way is to accept fate, amor fati, to love what is, even the departure of what once felt divine. So why do these phrases matter? Because every word we speak carries a vibration. The man who constantly speaks from need, fear, or flattery slowly dissolves his own gravity. But the one who speaks with restraint, awareness, and calm, he sharpens his presence like a blade. Every silence becomes a statement. Every look, a language. These aren't just romantic strategies. They are spiritual practices. They are ancient rituals disguised as modern restraint. And when lived fully, they make a man unforgettable, not because of what he said, but because of who he was. You've walked the ancient path in thought. Now it's time to walk it in life. Knowledge without practice is like a sword left in its sheath. Beautiful, but useless. The principles of the high-value man are not just ideas to admire. They are daily disciplines, quiet rituals that rewire the very way you exist. Begin here. Observe your language. For the next 24 hours, say less. Not out of fear, but out of power. Notice how often your words rush out to fill silence, to seek approval, to defend or explain, then resist. Breathe instead. Let discomfort sharpen you. Let silence be your mirror. There's an ancient Stoic technique, known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Before entering a conversation, visualize the temptations, the urge to please, the impulse to explain, the fear of being misunderstood. See them, expect them, and when they come, choose stillness over noise. That is strength. In practice, it might look like this. A woman challenges you. Instead of reacting, you pause. You let her words pass through you like wind through trees. You nod. You hold her gaze. You say little. You do not defend yourself. You do not retaliate. And in that moment, you say everything without a word. This restraint is not the indifference. It is the mark of a man who has nothing to prove. And ironically, it draws her in more than any clever reply could. Try this too. When in conversation, ask with presence, not with pressure. Instead of, "Why haven't you called me back?" try, "I sensed distance. Is there something you'd like to share?" Instead of, "Do you still care about me?" try silence and see what her energy reveals. Often the truth speaks loudest in the absence of prompting. You can also implement the Stoic practice of evening reflection. At night, write down what you said that day, especially in moments of tension or intimacy. Ask yourself, did I speak from strength or from need, from clarity or from chaos? This small ritual, repeated daily, will begin to purify your speech. It will reveal patterns, and it will slowly strip away the language of insecurity, replacing it with a powerful quiet. There's also the power of preset boundaries, deciding in advance what you will never say. Make a vow. I will never beg to be chosen. I will never flatter to be liked. I will never trade truth for comfort. Write these down. Etch them into your mind like sacred runes. When moments of weakness arise, as they will, you'll have these anchors, and they will hold you steady when your emotions threaten to pull you under. Above all, remember, you are not here to be understood by all. You are here to be aligned with yourself. Some will misunderstand your silence. Let them. Some will find your calm unsettling. Let them. Your task is not to fit their image, but to honor your own soul. Speak when needed. Be silent when wise. And always act with the weight of inner knowing. This is how you train presence. This is how you become unforgettable. And now, we arrive at the edge. The final silence before the transformation. Everything you've heard is not merely advice. It is remembrance, a calling back to what you already knew in your bones before the noise of the world took over. You were not born to beg, to plead, to convince someone to see your worth. You are born to embody it, to live it so fully that your presence becomes undeniable. The 7 things high-value men never say are not about censorship or manipulation. They are refusals, sacred refusals. Each one is a line drawn in the sand, a declaration of self-respect, a boundary between chaos and calm. When a man commits to never again saying, "I'll do anything for you," or "Please don't leave me," he is not pushing love away. He is calling in a deeper, cleaner, freer kind of love. The kind that is rooted in mutual reverence, not emotional debt. And as you walk this path, you'll notice a shift, not just in how women respond to you, but in how the world bends toward your energy. You'll see that when you stop trying to be chosen, you begin to choose. You'll feel the clarity of your own soul returning, moment by moment, word by word, silence by silence. But beware, this path is not for everyone. It is not glamorous. It is not loud. It will not make you instantly popular or endlessly praised. It'll make you real, grounded, deep as an ancient well, and in a world drowning in shallow noise, That is your superpower. You will lose people along the way. The ones who needed your weakness to feel strong. The ones who needed your words to feel validated. Let them go. Your presence will speak louder than your explanations ever could. And the ones meant for you, truly aligned with your spirit, will be drawn to your stillness, like birds to a quiet dawn. So what do you do now? You walk differently. You speak only when your words serve a purpose. You hold your silence like a blade forged by the Stoics themselves. You stop leaking energy through flattery, neediness, or apology. And you remember, every single day, that mastery is not found in how much you say, but in how well you know when not to speak. And if this resonated with you, if something ancient stirred inside you tonight, then let this be your ritual. Type, "Power is found in silence," in the comments. Not for me, for you, to mark the moment you returned to your center. Like this video if you felt the shift. Share it with the man who's ready to remember. And if you seek deeper wisdom, more ancient truths carved into modern skin, subscribe. The journey doesn't end here. It is only beginning.